Hi team, Melissa from Melissa versus Fibromyalgia here. I was just talking in the Foundations of Yoga for Chronic Pain and Fatigue Facebook group. We do a live video and Q&A session. And we were just talking about why I love Forward Fold. And I thought maybe I would share it with you because I think that you might find it useful as well. It's basically one pose of hundreds available to us from yoga, and I've been practicing it for a long time. So forward fold, or uttanasana, which is the Sanskrit name for it, is super adaptable. And so all of the poses that I teach in my classes, the poses that are included in the first module of the course, I have a breakdown of several key poses broken down so that we can really get them well for our body, so we can adapt them appropriately for our body. And they all have a purpose, and kind of every single pose has a real purpose. They have a list of benefits, they have a reason why we do them, they have physical benefits. And so, for example, the forward fold, we can bend our legs to make it accessible. We can do the half version using a wall or a bed or a chair. So it's a pretty adaptable pose for wherever we are at in our situation. And when I say doing using a chair, for example, we could be sitting in the chair and doing forward fold, or we could be standing in front of a chair and using it to forward fold. So there's so much adaptability available there depending on where you're at. And that's one of the reasons I started the 5 minutes a day for 5-day free challenge, is because often we think, oh, with chronic pain and fatigue, we can't do yoga. So I wanted to show you that I've created yoga that we can do so that we can catch those benefits, because the benefits are pretty much exactly what we need, right? Reduction in pain, reduction in fatigue, and improvement in sleep, reduction in anxiety, improvement in mood, all that kind of thing. And that's what yoga offers. And it's not only accessible by doing these 90-minute classes or looking like a pretzel. It's available right here, right now in our body. So going back to forward fold. So what are the benefits of this one pose? They stretch the calves, it stretches the hamstrings, the hips. And in a society that is sitting more and more, like we sit at our desk, we sit in our chair to watch TV after work, we sit in the car, we are sitting a lot. And you hear the campaign, sitting is the new smoking. It's really not great for you. And here's why. It impacts the hamstrings and your hip muscles, which there's a lot more than one muscle going on there, and your lower back. So forward fold actually really helps you counteract that stuff by really gently stretching those areas. It can also improve digestion, reduce fatigue and anxiety, relieve headaches and insomnia. Now, if it helps even a tiny bit with those things, I'm pretty happy with that, right? It's also really restful and calms the central nervous system, which is pretty much why I use any tool that yoga offers to calm the central nervous system, because that's pretty foundational for fibromyalgia. And it's also a really great neck stretch. So the reason I kind of fell in love with forward bend and why I started doing it initially and why I do it all the time now is because it's a really gentle stretch and traction for the neck. So I do it to kind of replicate what the physio does for me. So when I see the physio and she's put her needles in and taken them out again and relaxed all of the trigger points, then she does some stretches and tractions. So it's just using the weight of the head. So when you are in forward bend, the weight of the head gently stretches our neck and spine and all those muscles involved, and it's just delicious. Give it a go and see how it goes. But that's exactly why I use it. So I use it kind of in the middle of class. So for example, it's part of a really kind of key sequence called sun salutations. It's part of that transition from standing to going down to the ground. So you'd use it in a lot of classes, but you can also use it on its own. As I said, you can literally just go and do it next to your bed before you get into bed at night to start relaxing your legs and lower body and calming your nervous system ready for bed. So you can use it in a multitude of ways. But why am I talking to you about one pose when there are hundreds? Basically, this is just one example of how we can take a pose, which is usually just a 30-second snippet inside a class, and use it as a tool. This is what I do. I take the tools yoga offers to help us. I am kind of reclaiming movement So a lot of these, doctors and physical therapists want us to exercise because they have decided that 30 or whatever minutes of exercise is good for us. And it is good for us. It's good for our cardiovascular health and all that. But it may not be accessible for us to do those things. And at the moment, it might be way too much for you. That might be exacerbating your symptoms. And that's not what's necessary here. What I want is to move for our goals. I want to do 20 minutes of yoga and be exercising as I'm supposed to, but I'm also decreasing anxiety, decreasing fatigue, decreasing pain, improving my sleep. Those are the goals I want to aim for. And that's what yoga offers us. And that's why I'm so excited about it. And I just want everybody to know that you don't have to be able to do a long class. You can start where you are right now. So if that means you're sitting in your chair and doing a couple of very gentle poses today, that's what I want to be able to share with you. That's where you need to start. I'm tired of these people telling us we have to push and we have to do this and we have to do that. I want movement to become something we enjoy and something we find benefit from again. So I just wanted to share this, particularly about forward bend, and I wanted to encourage you to think of it as a toolkit. So for example, forward bend might be part of an exercise class, but it also can become a tool that you can use every day for pain management. So in the foundations of Yoga for Chronic Pain and Fatigue, we start the course with a toolkit, which I give you, so that as we go through, like in the first module, we go through several key poses. Then you can write down the poses in your toolkit, the ones that really help you, the ones that you want to start using regularly. You write it down so that you remember and you do it. And after we go through the poses, we use those key poses to make a couple of gentle classes that we can try. We make a special bedtime class, which first students are already telling me is helping them to sleep better. And in the very last week, we go through some relaxation and meditation, because those are really, really helpful and things that I have used a lot in the last several years. And I'm pretty excited about meditation, as you will know if you follow any amount of my work. So that's what we do in the class, but the point is I want that toolkit to last well beyond my 4 weeks, right? Next year, 5 years, next week, I want you to be able to take the tools that I have taught you or that yoga offers and use it to improve your life. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. If you're curious about forward bend specifically, I'll link to the video for you, because I have a free preview of forward bend. I released a couple of previews so you can get a sense of what it's like to do my courses, and you can come along and join the free challenge as well, 5 minutes a day for 5 days. It is still available. I'll put the link below. If you like these videos, can I ask you a favor? Please please subscribe, and please share it to one friend who you think could benefit from this information. I really would love it if you've got someone who could benefit from just learning about forward bend. Send them the forward bend video, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.